Hello everyone, my name is Teacher Akma and now I am going to present intervention and strategies for challenging behavior. So, before getting into how to make strategy for challenging behavior, first we must know why the behavior happens. So, we have a simple formula which we call as SEAT. SEAT. So for S, we have sensory. So maybe the child got overwhelmed or sensitivity of sensory or even seeking sensory. So that may cause the behavior to happen. Second one is escape. Maybe the child try to escape any task or any sensory diet that they must done. So they try to escape. That is one of the behavior. The third one is attention. So maybe they want the caregiver or teacher's attention. So those also count as behavior. And the last one is tangible. Tangible is something that can be removed or taken away that the child may be wanted and they causes behavior also. We then proceed with the how can we prepare for the problem behavior. So the first one is ruling out pain. So maybe before we do anything, we must inspect the child if there's any illness or any sickness for the child. The second one is establishing predictability and consistency. So as we know, autistic children, most of them is a very rigid person. So by establish consistency, they can predict what gonna happen next, and that will minimize the behavior to be most likely happen. For our center, we usually make a routine which we took the kids to make a sensory diet at the gym first, and then we do tasks at class. Then we proceed to go to gym, and then they can go back home. So by having the sequence of creating the consistency during therapy session, behavior problem can be minimized. The second one is creating a calm atmosphere. Even for we ourselves, that is adult, calm atmosphere can help us to stay restful. Next one, we can do attending to appropriate behavior. So by modeling a good behavior, it is most likely the child will imitate what the adult are doing. And then we proceed with doing do statement. Sorry for the typos on my slide. It's a statement. So instead of saying jangan kacau adik tu, so we stay a do statement which is kita main elok-elok dengan adik tu, like that. We focus on the positive attitude instead of say no to a bad attitude, because in most, even we adult, usually we will focus on the few last word of the sentence. So instead of saying don't run, we are most likely to focus on run. So it is not surprise if we say don't run, but then the child still run faster and faster. And the last on how can we prepare for problem behavior is keeping perspective. We then proceed on the behavior management approaches. So we have a few, which is how to prevent a challenging behavior, how to support positive behavior, and how to intervene when challenging behavior already exists. We then proceed with the preventing challenging behavior. The first one is minimizing aversive event. So aversive is the unpleasant stimulus. For example, a very bright light or a very loud noise. So by minimizing those stimulus, it can help to prevent a challenging behavior. Because by the overwhelm stimulus that happen, it might um, trigger or overwhelm for the children to do any task. The second one is sharing control. Kids is the same as us adult. We love to have that sense of control. So how you can do that? It can happen even on the slightest event. For example, giving them the power to choose something. For example, the task is to kick a ball. So you can make them to choose whether they want the blue ball or the red ball. So by doing that, they think they have the power to control, but it is just us to prevent their challenging behavior. Second one is successful engagement environment. By for instance, even though they don't properly achieve the target of the task, but with the slightest effort, for instance, touch thumb for motor imitation, even they have the effort to touch with point fingers, we should create a success engagement role. For instance, we say, a good job, you did it, you try to touch your fingers, but it should be like this, but then you can try to correctkan dan perbetulkan balik apa yang sepatutnya diorang kena buat. By doing this, we are not downgrading them and they will try to do more. The second one is increase communication effectiveness. By having two ways communication, which is the communication effectiveness, the child will feel that we heard them instead of just they must listen to adult. The second one is clarifying expectation. So for the kids that understood sentences and words already, we can clarify what we expect them to do. For instance, they must behave or else they are going to get something as punishment, but we are most likely say we give good reward lah if they try to complete or finish the task. The second last one is supportive self-regulation. For instance, if they try to clap after they did something, then we clap together with them. It is a sign that we support their self-regulation. And the last one for preventing challenging behavior is match demands to ability. So if they want something, we must give them, but they must comply to what we ask them to do. Then they're gonna get what they demand. And then we proceed to the next one. We then proceed to the next one, which is support positive behavior. So the stop for support positive behavior is into three categories. The first one is general strategies. So general strategies we have two. The first one is meet sensory needs. So in order to support positive behavior, we must meet the sensory needs for the children. So in our center, we all of the therapies will use this type of strategy, which is we do sensory diets before starting our task for the individual children based on what the children are lacking of, or if the children are seeking something, there are seven different types of sensory, and it depends on the child. The second one is build new skills. So as I said before, we have a task which we call as class session. We have a minimum 6 tasks per session that we must do with the children in order to build new skills. We then proceed with the specific strategies. The very first one is increase compliance through contingency methods. So contingency methods, to put it in a simple way, in simple sentences, we do, as what I understand, we do an if then explanation. For instance, if the child complete the task, then the child might get something, or the child might get to play a game, or to get off time for 2 minutes, stuff like that. It can be a positive reinforcer, or even a positive punishment for them. Second one is token economies. So for token economies, for instance, in my class, I did use a sticker. So biasanya untuk token akademi ni saya akan pakai untuk kanak-kanak yang functional, as diorang tu faham apa yang kita sampaikan, dan biasanya kanak-kanak ni, kanak-kanak istimewa ni, diorang kurang gemar repetitif yang bukan kehendak diorang. Tetapi in order untuk kita bagi complete, bagi dia master the skill, we must do repetition so that we confirm yang dia memang dah master the skill. Jadi saya akan menggunakan token ekonomi ni, which is saya akan bagi contoh satu repetition, satu stiker, dan bila dia dah complete 10 ataupun 15 repetition, nanti di hujung kelas dia akan dapat redeem 1 minit main bubble sebagai contoh. Seterusnya, kita moving on to the positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is something that the child usually like. It can be toys, food, but the food we must only use the food that the parent bekalkan kepada kita, because we cannot give any oral um, things which is food or drinks to the child. So something that the child likes in order to get the positive behavior. And next, the alternate preferred or non-preferred activities. Jadi untuk buatkan kanak-kanak itu buat sesuatu task and maybe they don't like the task, we give the choice. It is the same concept as the sharing control just now, but we selitkan task yang diorang kurang gemar. Biasanya kalau saya akan buat satu task yang diorang perlu buat, atau satu task yang saya target untuk diorang buat, dan lagi satu task yang diorang tidak berapa gemar untuk buat. Jadi dengan cara itu diorang akan secara tidak langsung akan memilih untuk membuat task yang diorang perlu buat. And the next one is general support strategies. Yang ini seperti nama dia, kita akan cuba untuk support kanak-kanak ini daripada segi physical boleh, gesture boleh, ataupun most of the time saya akan gunakan secara verbal. Saya akan macam, yeah, you can do this, sambil tepuk tangan dan sebagainya. Baiklah, seterusnya saya akan sambung dengan intervention when challenging behaviour already exists. So there are two things that we must take note here, FBA, which is Functional Behaviour Assessment, and a Positive Behaviour Support, PBS plan. So what are those? For FBA, it is a system proses, sesuatu proses untuk kita kumpul maklumat, untuk kita pastikan what are the relationship between the in this case between the children's problem behavior and aspects of their environment. Meanwhile, for the PBS, pardon, it is a framework untuk kita improve kualiti kanak-kanak tersebut dengan cara kita memahami apa yang penyebab diorang punya behavior, dan kita akan utamakan apa sebab di sebalik terjadinya behavior tersebut. Jadi antara cara untuk kita jalankan plan di atas adalah dengan firstly is team building and goal setting. So siapa yang terlibat dengan team building ni? Ini adalah antara the caregiver of the children themselves, which is can be the parent or relative yang take care of the children, and in our center the occupational therapist herself is included in the team building and goal setting. Usually we will ask the parent what are their concern. Is it with the speech delays or communication or balancing the skills or even school readiness. We will discuss. It is based on parent, and we might suggest a few things according to the children's age, appropriate skills for their age lah. And then the second one is a functional assessment of the behavior. So after setting the goals and target for the children, we will give a proper assessment so that we can take a look on what are the behavior of the children. We then later try to give hypothesis for the behavior that happened, what might cause the behavior to happen. We then start to develop the comprehensive support plan, and the plan will be implemented and also measure the outcome that is done by our fellow interventionists at this center. Then, based on the outcome, we will have discussion, which in our center, we will have daily discussion of what behavior of the children, and then we will give each other some support to tackle the behavior. And that is all for today's presentation. Thank you for watching and see you next time.